Hello and welcome back. In this tutorial, I am going to show you the benefits and advantages of using Animation Assist versus Page Assist to create a multi-page sketchbook file. I've built this notebook spread using Sketchbook for Procreate, which is my latest brush set I've released. It's a collaboration that I did with Abby from Brushes. We're super excited to see how you use this. And if you haven't checked out the video on building the notebook spread, I have that linked up here in the cards as well as in the video description below. It should also be in the pinned comment. If you want to get these brushes, you can also do that following the link in the description below. You can also download the freebie sampler pack from this set and test out some early versions of these brushes and get a pretty similar effect to be able to follow along. Procreate has two somewhat similar features called Page Assist and Animation Assist. I'm going to show you how to use both of these to achieve a multi-page setup, but I especially want to highlight why I actually think that Animation Assist is the better option for this. So I'm starting out here in Page Assist. Page Assist was created to allow you to scroll between multi-page documents like comics or storyboards, and to export that document as a multi-page PDF. There are some important things to note about the Page Assist feature, and the main thing is that it interprets each layer or each group of layers as an individual page. So if you want to have a page with multiple layers, you can create a group and then you can add as many layers within that group as you want. The other thing to note is that it allows you to set a background layer so that you can use the notebook layout as your base layer, and then all of the layers will be added on top of that. However, in Page Assist, you cannot add an overlay layer. So in this file that I set up, I have my paper texture stack at the top here. I'm going to unlock it, but right now it's treating just this group as its own page. And when I move to a page with art on it, it doesn't transfer those textures. So what I wanted to break down in this video is how you can use Page Assist with paper textures as an overlay, or how to set up your layers so that you can get some of that paper texture through if you are going to keep the paper texture in your base background layer. First, within Page Assist, to turn it on, you're going to tap the wrench and go into the Canvas section of the Actions menu. And then partway down, it's this Page Assist feature you can toggle on and off. In your document, once you have Page Assist turned on, it'll immediately interpret the groups or layers as individual pages. So to keep your paper textures in your base, I'm going to pull my group of paper textures here down to the bottom and keep them grouped with the base. And then to turn this into the background layer, I'm on this bottom bar here. I'm going to tap on the notebook thumbnail, and because it's the first page, it'll give me the option to set it as a background, so I'm going to toggle that on. The option to set it as a background will only appear on the bottommost layer, or group in this case. So now if I'm on this empty layer and I draw something, you can see this is a solid color, and so none of that paper texture shows through. So it's just kind of like, it looks very digital, much less realistic. What you can do is you can set this blend mode to multiply, and you'll see some of that texture come through on this layer. Now, advantages of this is that it's just really easy to add new pages, and you can work on a single layer as a page, and you don't have to create a group for each page that you want to make. However, it's definitely more subtle texture. It looks a little less realistic. So as an alternative within Page Assist, what you can do is create a group for each page and then duplicate the paper textures within each group. So you can automatically see the difference. There, it's a much richer texture with deeper shadows and brighter highlights. And then when I scroll through, that paper texture is there. But that means also that each time I add a new page or layer, I need to copy that paper texture in, and that's 2 extra layers for each page. So if you're working on an extremely large document, or if you don't have a lot of RAM in your iPad, that can add up really quickly, and you'll find that you run out of layers, and that's just a frustrating experience, let's be honest. So if you're wanting a texture overlay, you don't want to create a group with texture in each page, and you have layer limits, any of those things apply. What you can do is, instead of Page Assist, you can turn on Animation Assist. And what this allows you to do is have a texture group at the top set as the foreground, in addition to keeping the notebook pages at the bottom and the background. And now, no matter what page I scroll through, it will have that texture passing through. But you can kind of see, depending on the layer that I'm on, you can see it's not fully opaque. You can still see the other layers because this is meant for animation. So to change that, we're going to tap Settings here on the bottom bar, and on this onion skin frames, we're going to change that to none. And now each layer is fully opaque. So now we're able to scroll through. I can tap Add Frame. It still treats it as a page. And I get the added bonus of the overlay of the texture and the base layer underneath. So the downside to this method is that you cannot export it as a multi-page PDF the same way that you can in Page Assist. So if you are not going to be sharing it, and this is for functionality only for you as you're using it, I think that this is a better option than Page Assist at the moment, until hopefully in a future update, Procreate will add an overlay option to the Page Assist feature. But if you plan to export and share PDFs, then I would recommend using Page Assist and using one of the earlier workarounds to get the page texture or the paper texture on every page. I hope that this helps you out and helped you learn about the differences between the two. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more Procreate tutorials. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.